Soul Mom Talks was created as a space where women could rise, not by being perfect, but by being real.
It's a place where stories are honored, voices are amplified, and we remember that when one mom heals, she gives permission for another to do the same.
Every woman you'll hear from today has shown up with courage. They're committed to inner work, have stepped through fear, and said yes to being able to be seen, not just for themselves, but for those who need to hear their stories.
These speakers didn't arrive here by accident. They chose growth, they chose elevation, they chose to rise into their truth, and today they're here to lift others as they rise.
Each story you'll hear carries wisdom, vulnerability, and light. And as they elevate themselves on the stage, they're also here to inspire you to remember your own power.
Because Soul Mom Talks isn't just about listening, it's about awakening something within you.
So we invite you to be present, to open your heart, to receive whatever message is meant for you today. Welcome to Soul Mom Talks,
Where mothers rise,
stories heal,
and light is shared.
Created souls that are here to grow us spiritually. Okay, so I have something special for you guys. We want to leave you with something sacred, a moment to breathe, a moment to return to yourself, and a moment to receive. To help us gently land in everything we've heard and felt today, we are so honored to close Soul Mom Talks with something beautiful, with Soraiya's story, followed by a guided meditation. So wherever you are, allow yourself to soften and prepare to simply be. Soraiya is a mom of two and a gentle guide for parents seeking more presence, regulation, and connection. Her children and her greatest teachers continually calling her back to patience, curiosity, and love. Meditation has shaped her life over 3 decades and has supported deep healing and a steady remembering of the infinite love within. Guided by mentors such as Davidji and Marianne Williamson, she became a certified Masters of Wisdom and Meditation teacher and miracle-minded and life coach. She is bestseller author and has published 4 books, including 2 on conscious parenting, and is passionate about elevating consciousness around the globe. She recently spoke at the University of Oxford on how to create a more conscious, connected, and peaceful world. With over 20 years of corporate leadership, she blends grounded, practical tools on mindfulness and mindset that can apply to the workplace and to parents alike. She believes when parents get still, do the deeper inner work, and ground in self-love, they have the capacity to raise themselves while raising conscious leaders of tomorrow. Please join me in welcoming Soraiya Bodhi on stage on Mom Soul Talks.
Hi, everyone. So beautiful to be with all of you. It's an immense gift to be here. I want to ask you a question. How many of you have had a moment, a challenging moment, where time stood still? Anybody? Yeah? Anybody? This is the moment in my life that I learned that chaos and calm can coexist. 13 years ago, I was living in Toronto on the 38th floor of an apartment building. It was a January day, a freezing January day, you know, the kind where you go outside and your nostrils, your little hairs in your nose would freeze. And I was sleeping soundly, so definitely did not have kids at that point. And all of a sudden, as I was sleeping, I was jolted awake by my heart beating so intensely that I could feel it in my throat. And there was so much pressure on my head, I felt like my head was going to explode. I lived all alone. There we go. I lived all alone in my apartment, and all I could think of was, this is so terrifying. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So I just took a moment to pray. The only thing I could think of was pray. I tried to breathe. And the next thing I thought to do was to crawl to my balcony and put my head outside in -30 weather, hoping that this heart would settle. It was as though someone was knocking on my head violently, and I just couldn't open the door. Unfortunately, my heart didn't settle, and I was still feeling this immense pressure in my body. So I took every ounce of courage and strength, and I crawled to my front door, and I somehow managed to unlock it and call the ambulance. When the ambulance came, they hooked me up to some monitors and discovered that my heart was beating at 220 beats per minute. 70 to 100 is a natural rate of our heart. And I remember them saying, if her heart doesn't settle, we're going to have to use the shockers. This is dangerous. It can't go on like this. For 25 minutes, my heart sustained this rate. My heart and my head and my body was under so much distress when finally my heart settled. They took me to the emergency room, and I sat in a stretcher for 8 hours and had 10 subsequent episodes of my heart elevating to 220 plus beats per minute. Thankfully, they transferred me over to cardiology, where it was discovered that I was born with an extra electrical loop in my heart. And so, in my early 30s, I was told that I would now have to get heart surgery, that there was risk of stroke, that this was the only way. And truthfully, in that moment, I just couldn't imagine living with my heart elevated at that rate, feeling constantly like there was a big elephant sitting on my chest. And so what followed was a 2.5-hour surgery where I had to be completely still and awake while they tried to discover which part of my heart was causing the issue. I couldn't move, or I would damage my heart. I remember in that moment saying to the universe, I surrender my life in your hands. And somehow, in that moment of being so attuned to my body and the sensations, I felt this odd sense of calm. They went in and they burned this electrical loop several times. It felt like my heart was on fire. When I came out of that surgery, my body went into full shock. Healthcare professionals were running, lights were flashing, and they were trying to stabilize me. Luckily, they stabilized me. And after a few days, they sent me home. And they said, you know what? You'll be ready to go back to work this month. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to properly breathe when I got home. I was having these cycles of 3 to 4 hours where I just could not get enough breath. It felt like it was my last breath. And all I could think about in my head was, life starts with breath, life ends with breath, and how can I make every single breath count? As I had these periods of my breath being belabored, I found this feeling of peace in the storm. And what I didn't realize is how far that would carry me into motherhood, into all the challenges that would come with the chaos of motherhood. That this stillness would be this refuge, this divine shelter. When my son was 9 months old, I had a life-altering injury. And I remember just wanting to hold him when he would cry. He would cry, and I could not lift him. Sought through every door of healing until one day I got on my knees and I cried, just cried this deep cry. And I looked up at the universe and I said, what do you want from me? I have this stair fall. I had this heart surgery. I had 22 years of chronic pain, several car accidents. I said, I'm done with this pain. I'm done. Release me from this pain. And what I heard in that moment was only one word, which was meditate. And this became the doorway to healing, to coming present with everything that I was running from. I sat in stillness. I allowed emotions to emerge. I allowed them to shed and shift and move until one night I felt this overwhelming presence of divine light overwhelm my existence. And I knew in that very moment that a new purpose was being born. One, I was being guided to healing. And two, I was meant to share this gift with all of you today. There is this place within you, this perfect stillness, this refuge, this place of safety that nothing and no one can take from you. It is profound, it is deep, yet most of us are running with the chaos of life. There's chaos in the world, there's busyness in our homes. We're running from one activity to another. When do we get still and present with all the things we're running from? When do we take a moment to truly be in stillness and hear the guidance that is always available to us? And so I am standing here before you. I feel like I'm a cat with 9 lives. Been through many different things, but I'm here to tell you that stillness healed my body. I healed 22 years of chronic pain. I healed my concussion. I'm standing here, and I feel that I've been gifted this peace so that I can share it with you. It's not just for me, it's for you as well. And so I'd love to guide you through a guided meditation. Before I do that, I'd just like to share a few things with you, which is one, the power of stillness. Science is showing that when you spend 8 weeks, 30 minutes a day, the brain scans actually show there's a change in your brain. The gray matter grows by several percent, improving your judgment, your decision making, and reducing reactivity. It actually shrinks the part of your brain that is the fear center and the anxiety center. So the science is showing it. What my body experiences, science is showing it. I know many of you are sitting here thinking, how can I sit for 30 minutes a day? What I would say to you is start simple and small. A breath is stillness. Coming into presence with your thought is stillness. It's not about emptying the mind. It's coming into presence. So as I walk you through today, just be open to the experience. Know it's okay. There's thoughts pinging in your mind. Completely normal. You're training your brain to get still. And just allow the process of this beautiful visualization I'm going to walk you through. Hear it, listen to it. If you can't visualize it, just allow yourself to experience what I'm walking you through in your body. Okay. Are you ready? All right. Let's take a moment. Place one hand on your heart and one hand on your stomach. It's called a heart hold. Helps to regulate your nervous system. And let's take a beautiful deep breath in, breathing in through our nose, expanding our stomach, and slowly breathing out through our mouth. Breathing in through our nose, breathing in love, And breathing out fear. Breathing in calm. And breathing out chaos. And if you feel comfortable, you can allow your eyes to gently float closed. If you get distracted, just allow your mind to gently drift back to the sound of my voice or to the rise and fall of your chest. Let's take a moment to invite in the presence of light, the ever-expansive love of divine, the universe, whatever you feel connected to. Invite it into your heart and just envision with each breath that your heart glows brighter and brighter. Let's take a beautiful deep breath in, breathing in the infinite light that resides within you and around you at all times. Breathing in and breathing out. And let's take a journey walking along this beautiful, brilliant beach. You can feel the warmth of the sand between your toes. You can hear the waves crashing in and out. And with it, it carries away your worries, your fears, your doubts. It carries away your stress and replaces it with deep calm. Deep, deep calm. And as you walk along this beach, you notice the beautiful breeze on your skin, the smell of the ocean, and you just enjoy the warm glow of the sun gracing your face. As you walk along, you see a beautiful house in the distance. It feels familiar. It's inviting. And before you know it, you're in front of the front door, knocking on the door and waiting for it to open. As the door opens, you see your future self 5 years from now. Your future self is peaceful, is happy, and so fulfilled. Your future self invites you in to sit and connect. She places a hand on yours and says, "What do you want to know in this moment?" You proceed to ask, "How are you so happy and peaceful and fulfilled?" Take a moment to hear what your future self is telling you. Beautiful. You then ask, what do I need to know right now at this point in my journey? What do I need to know right now? Beautiful. And lastly, you ask your future self, how can I invite more calm, peace, joy, and presence in my life? Beautiful. You then get up, feeling fulfillment in your heart, and your future self looks you in the eyes and says, "You've got this." Just know you are surrounded and guided by a force far greater than you that can see 100 steps ahead. Get still, trust, and surrender, and know that you don't have to have everything figured out. You just need to take the first soul-aligned step. Your future self gives you a big embrace and places one hand on your heart and says, anytime you need reassurance, anytime you need to connect, I'm with you. You feel your future self merging with your current self. You walk now out of the house and back with this feeling of a deep glow of the sun illuminating your spirit. This knowingness that you are not alone on the journey. You allow the ocean waves to move through you, to heal you, and to reveal to you the beauty of being present. And you walk along that shore, and you just allow the light to encompass you and bring you home. Let's take now a beautiful deep breath in, breathing in this infinite light and wisdom, and breathing it out as well. Allowing this light to encompass you, to guide you, and to remind you that nothing and no one can take your light. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. You can feel the chair beneath you. And you can come back to the room. And to seal this meditation, sitting in a moment of deep stillness, and we're going to recite one word, which is Om, together. It's considered one of the highest vibrations words, and it's universal oneness. So let's do that together. Breathing in, and on the exhale, we'll say Om. Breathing in. Om. Beautiful. Thank you for joining me on that journey. I'm going to leave you with two things. One, peace intersects you in the present moment. Every day, cultivate that stillness. You'll feel it in your body. You'll feel calmer in your nervous system. It will allow you to be a more patient, centered, and calm parent. Start your day with stillness before you do anything else, even if it's a few minutes of just noticing the rise and fall of your chest. It will allow the calm to direct your day rather than the chaos of the world. And the second thing I leave you with is connecting with your future self, manifesting your dreams. We heard so much about coming into your superpower, about owning your path. Once you can hear your soul, you can also connect to your soul regularly. And so you can write yourself as though your future self is writing to you 5 years from now, writing to you advice, writing to you all the magnificent things you've dreamed and so much more, in detail, in emotion. And then you can record that on your phone and you can replay it to yourself to start propelling you to manifest the life of your dreams.